Talk. I am your host, MISHUMA SABA, M.SABA, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. Stay tuned. Peace, and welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast. This is the Cultural Variety Podcast Show, and I'm your host, MISHUMA SABA, M.SABA, and it's our Cultural Variety Podcast. How y'all doing today? It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day outside right now, you know, and we just got hit with, 3 to 4 inches of snow last night. And today it's real sunny out and everything is stalling out. It's just a beautiful day, man. How y'all doing? May everybody be doing something beautiful. May you be in surrounded by positive energy. May you be working hard. May you be strategic and focused with whatever you're doing today. And continue to stay sucker free, man. So, you know, that's us giving out the wise words for for Coffee Talk. So listen, let's go ahead and just dive right in, man. If this is your first time tuning into the show, we are a Cultural Variety Podcast show. We appear 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and on the weekends. We have an alternate Friday, Saturday weekend day. Typically on Mondays, which is today, we have cultural studies, or we give honors to our people, you know, scholars, our ancestors, our scholars, our doctors, our lawyers, our athletes, so forth. So that's what we do here on Mondays here at Coffee Talk Podcast. On Wednesdays is our sports night. Now, we're not like your typical other sports shows where we care about who won or lost or anything like that. What we do is we just we talk about it from a different perspective in sports, our people and their involvement in sports behind the scenes. So that's what we do on Wednesdays. And then on Friday and Saturday nights, we like to just have fun. We like to have a guest. We like to play 10-question Q&A, or we just like to just have fun. So that's what we do on Friday and Saturdays. But today, I'd like to thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time, welcome. And we don't start our show. We never start our show without giving it some flavor. So today's flavor is Madagascan coffee beans, whose beans can contain a low caffeine and are not used commercially. It has a distinct acidity and a light body. It's from small farmers with our artificial fertilizers. The plants are cherished and cultivated until the mature coffee cherries start to blossom and are harvested singly. So today's flavor that we giving it is Madagascan coffee. And also today's wise words, which is also the flavor, is stay consistent. Because that's who you're battling. You battle consistency. You know, and if you've been consistent lately, continue on that path, you know. Because consistency will sneak up on your ass and hit you, just like in the boxing ring. And that's what I like to give an analogy of when I think of consistency. So if you're being consistent right now, you're winning. You know what I'm saying? So continue on with that fight. So those are the wise words from Coffee Talk. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right into the show. Russell Westbrook, guard for the Los Angeles Lakers. I feel he has been taking a lot of slack since joining the team. I was listening to Stephen A. Smith today on ESPN, and he was elaborating on something that Magic Johnson said as well, and we'll talk about that in a second. But he was elaborating, stating that if the Lakers don't make the playoffs, this can be the worst trade or acquisition of picking up Russell Westbrook. Magic Johnson said that. Stephen A. did speak on that and agreed. And it made me start to think about, why has Russell Westbrook been the blame of everything that's going on with the Los Angeles Lakers? Now, hear me out. Is he leading in turnovers? All right. Yeah, he's leading in turnovers. But when you think of Russell Westbrook, if you're really into basketball, you knew what you were getting. A high, energetic, dominant player, ball dominant player, scorer, and would leave his heart on the floor. But what you was not getting, Lakers, is defense. As much as we think LeBron James is a great defender, because when we look over all the highlights of LeBron James, he's always coming from the back blocking somebody's shot. But LeBron James ain't that great of a defender if he's not chasing you from behind. Anthony Davis. You have some defensive players of the year awards. You've had some, but I want to say your greatest years was when you were with the Pelicans. Some will argue that, and they will say that your greatest year was in the bubble. Let me ask you, it's a championship. Does it deserve an asterisk? Let us know. Put it in the comments. But the reason why I'm pointing this out is because it seems like Russell Westbrook was supposed to be the savior of this Lakers franchise, of this Lakers season. And I think that's wrong. So it made me think about, is Russell Westbrook being attacked by sports communists, the sports media? You ask me why. Why, Saba? Why do you think that he's being attacked? Because early on in the years, and you can go back and find this video footages, Russell Westbrook used to come at the media like, man, look, I'm here to ball. I'm not here to play y'all's games. None of that. It is what it is out here. You know? And all of a sudden, you start to see the fashion transition of Russell Westbrook. And he never really looks comfortable in it. Give me 1 second. In this fashion thing that they have infused into the league. And then his whole demeanor starts to change as we get to where we are right now. I don't think he sold out or nothing. I'm not making accusations like that. But I'm saying his relationship with the media. He used to stand real tall. And so I'm wondering, is this the payback that the media is doing to him, making him the blame of the Lakers NBA season? Everywhere you go is, man, Russell Westbrook's fault. What? Russell Westbrook's fault. Russell Westbrook's fault. And statistically, there is some things that he's not performing well at. And statistically, there are some things he is doing well at. He's staying true to the fact that he's a scorer. Let's talk about the fact that LeBron and Russell are both ball dominant. And that means somebody got to cut. They say Russell Westbrook is not comfortable in these areas of cutting to the basket. What is what I mean by cutting? LeBron does it, but LeBron is up there in age, 19 years in the season. I mean, in his career. So you don't want him to cut all the time. Well, so that takes me to this thought. Instead of Russell Westbrook being the blame of the Los Angeles Lakers NBA season, and perhaps possibly might not make the playoffs, or of course get into a play-in tournament where they can possibly knock somebody out and get into the playoffs. Is this Lakers team dangerous? Absolutely. They can be. All of them have performed well on the big stage, meaning the playoffs. But why doesn't Rob Pelinka and Kurt Rambis and the Laker organization want to take on the accountability of the fact that you got rid of a lot of great defensive players? And so you surrounded yourself with Russell Westbrook, LeBron, AD, and Carmelo. I'm not talking about Malik Monk or anything. He's a great player. Great player acquisition for the Lakers. He's the youngest one out there. I feel like it's just unfortunate that we see an athlete such as Russell Westbrook, who gives it his all day in and day out on that court, man, blood, sweat, and tears, that the media is just attacking him. So what is your thoughts on that? Go ahead and leave a comment. Go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and share the video. This is great discussion in the break room near the coffee. But you gotta have this flavor. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, so this is Coffee Talk Podcast. I am your host, MISHUMA SABA, M.SABA. And this is our normally Monday Cultural Edition. Next, I want to go ahead and talk about this interview that I thought was very interesting. The interview is by INSPIRETV journalist CHANTELLE POLIGHT, who interviewed phenomenal actor Samuel Jackson. So she interviewed him, and I just want to go ahead and dive right in to what Samuel Jackson is talking about when it comes to the Oscars. Let's go ahead and hear it out. CHANTELLE POLIGHT, journalist for INSPIRETV, posted on March 3rd, 2022. This is what her interview was with Samuel Jackson, and these are his words. Samuel L. Jackson has some words for the Oscars. In a recent interview with The Times, the Hollywood veteran gave his opinion on his past Oscar nomination and his lack of the Academy Awards under his belt. I should have won that one, Jackson recounted about his nomination for his role in Pulp Fiction. Jackson lost to Martin Landau for the latter's performance in the movie Ed Wood during the 1994 Oscars for Best Supporting Actor. The actor also expressed his displeasure for the lack of recognition for his character, Gator Puffrey, in Jungle Fever. Man, that was a good character. The film Bugsy and two of its cast members snagged the Oscar that year over Jungle Fever. We're going to get back to that in a minute after I get done reading this. My wife and I went to see Bugsy, the Pulp Fiction actor said. Damn, they got nominated and I didn't? I guess black folks usually win for doing despicable shit on the screen. Jackson continued, like Denzel for being a horrible cop in Training Day. All that great stuff he did, uplifting roles like Malcolm X, no, we'll give it to this motherfucker. For decades, the celebrities in Hollywood have expressed the blatant overshadowing of the performance of black actors and actresses at the Academy Awards. One of the earliest snubs to be remembered is that of Hattie McDaniel, who won the Oscar for her performance in Gone with the Wind in 1939. Despite the fact that she was the Oscar recipient, McDaniels was forbidden to attend the Oscars the following year as the ceremony was held at a white-only theater. In 2016, celebrities stood in solidarity for an Oscar boycott in Hollywood after Will and Jada Smith announced they would not attend this year's Academy Awards. The previous year of 2015 saw outstanding performances from black actors such as Idris Elba and Beast of No Nation, and Michael B. Jordan for his role in Creed. However, not a single non-white actor saw an Oscar nomination. The movement quickly spawned and the hashtag Oscars So White, and a few of their fellow celebrities gave up their seats at the awards that night, including Reese Witherspoon, Spike Lee, George Clooney, Don Cheadle, Mark Ruffalo, Viola Davis, and Lupita Nyong'o. Despite his lack of Oscar wins and nominations over the decades, Jackson will be presented with an honorary Oscar at the 2022 Governor's Awards on March 25th. He states, "Maybe I should have won, but Oscars don't move the comma on your check," Jackson said. "It's about getting asses in the seats, and I've done a good job of doing that." Those are the words of Samuel L. Jackson. Great interview by Chantelle Poole, aspiring TV journalist, for her interview with Samuel. But I wanted to talk about a few things that stood out to me in the interview. One of the things he had mentioned is why is that? Historically, why is it that Black actors, and when I say actors, I mean actresses as well, but they're all actors, you know what I mean? So, and that's how they like to be called. But why are actors always got to do some despicable shit? What do I mean by that? Well, how about what's that, the lady's name? Halle Berry. I apologize. Halle Berry playing her role in oh man, I'm forgetting about that movie right now. I think it's The Ball, something Ball. Give me one moment. As I pull that up, unless you want to go ahead and put that in the comments. What's that movie with Halle Berry? The Ball. You know what I'm talking about? Let's take a look. Give me one moment. Monsters Ball. All right, there we go. Thank you for being patient with me. But yeah, I think she lost her fans in that movie. I know she lost me, but you know, I'm not everybody. But yeah, we always got to do some despicable shit to get a nomination. And it's almost offensive to me when they say, oh, you're going to get an honorary. An honorary. An honorary to me is like a constellation prize. You know what I'm talking about? What is y'all's thoughts on that, about the word honorary, getting an honorary award? Go ahead and leave that in the comments. And we'd like to thank you right now that you are watching Coffee Talk Podcast. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is a cultural variety podcast show, and I'm your host, MISHUMA, SABA, M.SABA, and this is our cultural variety podcast. So thank you for tuning in. All right, so the next segment, we're going to go ahead and talk about James Earl Jones, the legendary James Earl Jones. So let's go ahead and talk about it as we give our props and tips our hat to James Earl Jones. And I did a podcast on James Earl Jones a couple of weeks back. So if you want to go in the archives and check that out, go ahead. But again, he's back. So let's go ahead and talk about James Earl Jones. James Earl Jones, a historic Broadway theater where James Earl Jones appeared early in his career, has now been named after him. The Court Theater, originally named for the impresario John Court, opened at 138th West 48th Street in 1912. While it's currently dark, the Court is one of Broadway's greatest theaters. Jones, a legend and a pioneer in the performing arts, was born in Arcaboutla, Mississippi, 91 years ago. Raised on a farm by his grandparents, he considered medical school before becoming an actor. Jones' Broadway career began in 1957. His indelible performances since then have ranged from the voices of Darth Vader in multiple Star Wars movies to starring in plays such as Othello and On Golden Pond, just to name a few. Lion King, just to name a few. Caroline, just to name a few. For me, standing in this very building 64 years ago at the start of my Broadway career, it would have been inconceivable that my name would be on the building today, Mr. Jones said in the statement. Let my journey from then to now be an inspiration for all actors. These are the words of James Earl Jones. Through the theater, though the theater was used as a television studio for the Merv Griffin show from 1969 and 1972, it has mostly remained in theoretical use through the years. The court temporarily closed in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic, but has been renovated during this time. So that is our show. What is your thoughts on James Earl Jones getting the court theater? They're going to change their name and change it to James Earl Jones. That's great. Do you know that James Earl Jones is one of few actors that's won the 4 awards? And I don't know what all 4 of them are. I'll try to guess. Let's see, the Oscar, the Tony, blah, 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 and 2 others. Y'all go ahead and look that up and get back to us and leave that in the comment. How many theatrical awards for acting has James Earl Jones won? Go ahead and leave that in the comments. But that's all for our show today. I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Coffee Talk Podcast. As you know, we always give our props. We salute. We give our flowers to our people, man. This is a show for us, but we recognize everybody, and everybody come on in. And when you come on in, pour yourself some coffee, a cappuccino. If you're somewhere where there's snow, or somewhere where you can relax and chill, a smoothie, some wine, and if you're working out, some water. But come on in, kick your feet up, relax, and enjoy the show, Coffee Talk. So until next time, I am your host, MISHUMA SABA, M.SABA. And this is the Coffee Talk Podcast. I'm going to go ahead and hit y'all with that universal peace sign. I'm out of here. I'll see y'all Wednesday during Sports Edition. Peace and love.